Italian F4 was there to start the day on JBMotorsports 2, and it is now here to end the day as well. Good afternoon and welcome back to Italian F4. It is time to get going for race number 2 of the weekend. Great to have your company, everybody. It is going to hopefully be a very interesting race coming our way, and myself, Omi, up here in the commentary box, cannot wait to bring you this contest. It's going to be action-packed, it's going to be exciting. Let's see how this one's going to go, with Gabriel Gomez on pole position, and alongside him Alexander Bondarev. Keen Nakamura Birds is next to Newman Shi, Emmanuel Olivieri next to Maximilian Popov, and Sebastian Weldon, who's been struggling so far. On row 5, he'll go from 10th position. It's going to be a dramatic day of Italian F4. It already started off being dramatic earlier on, and it's most likely to continue here today. We have had a run of delays. We had a delay to the GB3 race. We had a delay to Italian F4 race at the start of the day. Every single stream on JBMotorsports 2 has been delayed this week. Well, today rather. Every single stream that we've done on JBMotorsports 2 has been delayed, which it is not the weekend for it. It is not the weekend for it, but it is 7 PM trackside right now, and I think we're set to get racing at 7:15 local, so that will tell me that, well, we'll be going and racing to 7:45 if we don't get any red flags. Hopefully, I don't think sunsets for a while, so that's good. That's in our favour. Or there would be a slight issue in getting this race, and we would have to call it off early. I wouldn't mind a little race in the darkness though. Absolutely wouldn't mind that one bit. Okay, let's hand it down then over to the world feed. Ian Silvestrian has got some information for us, and he's got the talking points before we head into what is going to be a very important race this weekend.
Alexander, you're back on grid 23, but a rookie podium is still possible, so how do you feel for the race too?
Yeah, I feel quite confident. Quite bad quali, so now we push forward. We try coming back. Everything is possible. Maybe even some rain, so yeah, we push.
Good luck.
Alex Ruta from Warsaw or Varsavia in Poland for the Dutch Van Amersfoort racing team has been on the rookie podium already in 2025, has had a strong first year in the Italian F4 Championship. Just speaking with Laura Colla, we'll try and get a word with another rookie driver from the Middle East. Bader Al-Solati is starting just a row behind the pole for the JBMotorsports team. And the 2023 Qatari kart racing champion is speaking with Laura Colla.
Bader, a real positive rookie year so far, but it is tough here in Italy, so how are you finding it?
Yeah, it's my first time being in this championship. It's a very competitive championship. It's a tough grid, and we work harder every round to improve on our skills and go ahead in the grid.
Representing the nation, which of course recently hosted the FIFA World Cup, and he has acquitted himself very well. 2023 Qatari kart racing champion, also driving for the Qatar Motorsports Federation for the Swiss JBMotorsports team. Starts a row behind Alexander Ruta. There is the pole sitter, Gabriel Gomez. Starts at grid 1, had a super launch off the line in grid 1. Let's go down and hear from another rookie, the Mexican, Javi Herrera.
Javier, so are you confident for this race too?
Sorry?
Are you confident for this race?
Yes, I had a position grid drop this race, a shame, but yeah, let's make up those places I lost. I'm confident.
Javi Herrera from Mexico, as this Lamborghini Huracan sets off. Just a moment away from the formation lap. Yes, a difficult race this morning. Lost the front wing, did not come into pit lane, and continued on absolutely flat until he got to the exit of Tamburello, and the car just understeered off the road. Guy Elbag, the innocent victim, and ran into the back of the Mexican, did the Israeli. They were both out. That brought out the safety car for the second time. Herrera was deemed to be at fault in that incident, As you look at Ken Nakamura, Nikki Cadet, team manager for the Prema Racing team. Car still up on the jacks. The Prema Racing team, sorry, it's Bondarev out of grid 2. Ken out of grid 3. As we take a look at the grid, it is Gomez out of pole position. Bondarev 27 out of grid 2. Ken Nakamura still P1 in the championship, starts out of grid 3. Newman Chi, who won at Monza, starts out of grid 4.
They do indeed, and then in P5, Ian Silvestrian, it is Emmanuel Olivieri, and he's next to Maximilian Popov, who will start in 6th. Salim Hanna is in 7th, and then it's Anea Frey, who's the next driver on the grid for JBMotorsports. In 9th, it's Artem Sevayukin, he's next to Sebastian Weldon, who goes from P10. Maxim Rem in 11th, and then it's Alex Powell, the Jamaican sensation, as Ian Silvestrian calls him, will go from 12th on the grid. In P13, it's Reno Francot. Next to him is Prema Racing's Andrea Charles Dupe. And then it's Lucas Sambalisto. Next to Bart Harrison, they are 15th and 16th. In 17th, it is Andrea Kostic, involved in an incident earlier on with Bart Harrison. And then Emily Cotti came to a stop earlier on today. David Walters in 19th, and then it's Kabiranowak on the attack and then some. In race 1, let's see what he can do from P20 though this time around. Marcus Sater, not the tidiest race earlier on, he's in 21st. Here, Schropp in 22nd. Ruta, you heard from him a few moments ago, he's in 23rd. And then it's Dante Vinci. The Van Sport car will go from 24th. Bada Olsolati in 25th. And then it's Javier Herrera in 26th. For Genza, Krill Kutskov is next to Francesco Pio Coppola, the driver who will be going from 28th. And then David Cosma Christopher in 29th. And Luca Visciano in 30th. Ludovic Abisso in 31st. Involved in the opening lap crash, of course, earlier on. And then it's Alexander Savinkov next to him. Phil Collins Stranger is in 33rd. Guy Albach in 34th. Elia Louise Ways is in 35th. And then it's Peyton Vescott in 36th, of course. Waze has also been doing some Formula E rookie testing at Berlin in between our Italian F4 rounds. Berraby is 37th. Cornelia Olkutska, not a good race for her earlier on. Not a good race for Arthur Lormier. They're 38th and 39th position. That is your long grid complete. We have read them all out. We have talked you through. And now, well, let's end the day on a high, shall we? I am completely exhausted. As you can pretty much tell, that is what commentary of a entire day seems like. There's been so many races today. And I'm not done after this. I still have one more thing to do. But we've had F2, F3. They've happened. I've also done Freca. I've done GB3. I've done one Italian F4 race, and here's the second one. 6 races today. Exhausting stuff, especially when they're all delayed, when they all have red flags, and none of them started on time, bar F2 and F3. None of them started on time. Right. Welcome up to the commentary box. If I do keep it on battle screen a lot, then I hope you understand why. You don't want to see me completely looking drowsy for about the next 30 minutes, I think it is fair to say. But yeah. Of course, you know, I'm not used to covering so much in a day. It's something I'll start learning because I'm doing it quite a lot, it turns out. This year, stall on the grid for the Prema car of Newman for Alexander Bondarev, I think that is, who has stalled on the grid, but he's got going. He's got going, and that was vital. That was vital. Apologies, it wasn't Newman, it was Bondarev. And the Prema driver giving everyone a mini heart attack there. But I can tell you, it's all okay. The driver who was set to start on the front row should start on the front row because he's got enough time to retake his position on the grid. But that is not the jump scare that you want to be having, and Bondarev nearly sees the race fall away from him as he stalls on the grid momentarily. All is okay. Air temperature right now is 23 degrees. And what is going to be quite the challenging race. Alexander Bondarev back into position. Kei Nakamura Roberto will be in third, and then Newman Cheese in fourth. 3 Prema cars together, all red and white Premas as well. You don't have Weldon in there to try and help you on the opening lap with his Andretti livery. So, let's see how this one's gonna go. Sun is setting. It is 15 past 7 local time. It is 16 for us in the UK. And it is time to see how this race will go. Gomez on pole. Can the boy from Brazil convert the race? So many question marks. Our live timings will kick into gear, by the way, once everyone comes across the line and the race begins. It is going to be race 2 of the weekend. Race 1 had lots of safety cars earlier on, and we will hope to avoid that in race number 2. 3 Prema cars lining up. Gabriel Gomez will be in pole position. Weldon in 10th, keep an eye on him. And unfortunately, I can't say keep an eye on him to possibly be moving forward. That'll be the aim for him, but it's not been the tidiest season, has it, for the Prema driver? It has been a bit of a struggle for Sebastian Weldon, unfortunately. So, it'll be fascinating to see how he does as they line up in position. So yeah, there's a chance you could be seeing Weldon head backwards. You could see Weldon heading forwards. That's what they'll be all hoping for. And then what is David Cosmo Christopher going to be able to do? We're on the grid. We are race ready. It's time to put the green flag at the back in a few moments' time. Anurag, lots of work for him to do from 20th on the grid. Now that angle looks like a mess, with all the cars positioned. And they will hurtle down towards turn number 1 around this circuit. Is Bondarev going to give himself a chance? So many question marks as we are ready to go racing with 3, 4, 5 red lights in Imola. Italian F4 is go! Big crash immediately in the background there as we see Newman Cheese stall on the grid, and there's a big crash. Massive accident at the start of this race, and that's a huge crash, and we'll need a red flag. We'll need a red flag immediately. That is a horrible accident at the start of the race, and that is not what anyone wanted to see. We have had a staller on the grid of Newman Cheese, and that's horrible. That's a big crash, and you never want to see a car stall in that way. And we had a Van Amersfoort car who hit the back. The Van Amersfoort car hit the back, and that is not the start to Italian F4 that we wanted. The red flags are understandably flying. There is multiple cars who are stranded on the grid, and that is going to see all of the cars come back into the pit lane. So the order sees Gabriel Gomez, then Alexander Bondarev and Kei Nakamura Roberto. Those are your top 3 then. We will confirm in a moment's time who is involved in the accident, but of course we will only do so once we've got confirmation and once all of the timings have updated. We will hope that everyone involved in that accident is okay, And after doing so well across this season, a stall on the grid and so many cars who are blindsided. Always horrible. Newman-Shee stalled and a few cars went into him. You had one car hit the back of him, then you had another. Right, let's take you back to the start. So immediately into the back goes the Van Amersfoort. You have a car off as well, and then there's going to be another car who makes contact in a dramatic way, and then you see the Prema car thrown everywhere. And an absolute mess at the start of the motor race. Once again, the Van Amersfoort car, we will confirm in a moment's time. We don't want to give false information in the moment. We are seeing the replays, and we are just waiting to see how it's all going to work out. Okay, it looks like I can bring you the positive news that all drivers are okay. We would not be showing you the race replays had all drivers not been okay. But that is quite the frantic race start. That is quite the frantic race start. But all drivers are okay, according to race control. Loads of them out of the cars, but I would not be surprised if there is some injuries. I really hope that Newman-Shee especially, because he was the one who was stranded, and that is a horrible position to be in. That's a horrible position to be in, with the entire field hurtling towards the back of you. And very angry there. Very angry there. Looks like is that so walking away. We'll confirm in a moment who are the drivers involved. So we had two drivers who didn't take the lights. We had two drivers who did not take the lights. Cornelia looks like one of those drivers involved. There is David Walder walking away, and Berraby as well. The cars slowly make their way into the pit lane, and that was quite the insane start. If you are just joining us, we've had a massive accident to start the race involving multiple cars, but luckily we have received the news that everyone is okay. And it was terrifying stuff when they left the line and made their way down towards, well, they were aiming to get towards Tamburello, but they did not end up going there for much. So, the order as they come into the pit lane is Gabriel Gomez, Alexander Bondarev, Key Nakamura Berta, Emmanuel Olivieri, and Artem Sevayukin. Those are the 5 drivers. Those are the 5 drivers that are the top 5 at the moment. So Sevayukin's moved up. Loads of drivers improving positions. Weldon, who started in 10th, is currently in 8th. So that's been a switch that has happened. So while it looks like, from the information we've received from race control, is that all drivers are okay. In terms of they are all conscious. There will be further checks. Loads of cars will be withdrawn for tomorrow's contest. Arriving down to the grid. We'll calculate in a moment's time how many there are involved, but That was a frightening sight. That was a frightening sight as they made their way off the line. Right, let's take it back to the race start. And you had front wing thrown up. First of all, there were Van Amersfoort went into the back, which is normal, and then you see more cars arrive on the scene. But that is scary stuff for Newman Shi. When you are stuck on the grid. We believe 9 are involved and 15 did not complete Sector 1 before the red flag. So loads of drivers involved. We're just waiting to confirm who is not there. Okay, let's throw it down. David Walter and Berenby are there with ACI Sport at the moment.
Went on the grass because like I saw on the right there were too much crashes. So I just went on the grass, but unfortunately I think Viola, she crashed into me, so I had nowhere to go. So yeah, ended up in the wall.
Yeah, me, I'm fine as well, but you know, it was just an unlucky incident. The people in front, they were just all over the place, so I couldn't go anywhere.
It was very crazy to look at.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nathaniel Batterby and David Walter somewhat shell-shocked along with their teammate Cornelia Olkutska. We believe a third car may have stalled. It may have been Salim Hanna also, who did not get away. This is Phil Strange, AS Motorsport car. Almost was a...
Quick little message. It appears like that the race has been shortened to 25 minutes. Now, of course, that was expected, but yeah, we've shortened the distance by a couple of minutes.
Let's just point out that next year's FIA Formula One World Championship calendar has a couple of asterisks beside it. It is provisional. We may be back at Imola after all. Maybe. Host circuit of the Italian Formula One Grand Prix. For the sole time back in 1980, the San Marino Formula One Grand Prix from 81 through to 86, and more recently the Emilia-Romagna Formula.
It is indeed. Just wanted to go down there and get a few words from Ian Silvestrian. But just taking a look. So the race has of course understandably been reduced to 25 minutes. The news I want to hear that everyone is okay even after medical checks. I can expect and imagine that for tomorrow's contest we'll have lots of drivers who are going to be withdrawn, understandably so due to damage. Everything's gone in terms of live timings. I don't know where it is. Live timings are just completely gone because they don't probably expect to be racing at this time of day. And it's saying content will be available soon. Well, that's just brilliant, isn't it? The live timings have gone, and we're still over here racing. Well, not racing at the moment. We are behind the red flag. So, we're having quite the day, aren't we? Quite the day. Track's nearly recovered. As I mentioned though, after everything we've seen, the only news I want to hear that all drivers are absolutely okay after checks. We're in the pit lane. And it is a race now where the drivers have to reset and think about the bigger picture in terms of they will be aware they will have to, of course, be aware at all times about... I think we've also got a curfew as well. I think that's important to mention. I know I've just completely interrupted myself. I don't know how that's possible, but, you know, I've completely interrupted myself. But anyway, that was a terrible sight off the line. And now the focus for the drivers, a lot of their friends, a lot of their teammates involved in that accident, from the news that we've been given, everyone's okay, everyone's conscious. There will of course be medical checks that will go on, and there will be lots of the drivers heading to the medical centre after that incident. But if you are still in the race, you can look at this as an opportunity as, right, that's lots of drivers gone. While what's happened to them, no driver would have wanted, you do have to now think about the fact, okay, right, now we have a chance to get some good points. Now it's basically reset and go again. Whether we actually get a full distance, whether we actually even get going, or whether this gets put to tomorrow. You can imagine that even race 3 drivers will actually have the situation where lots of cars will be withdrawn. I'm just taking a look whether we've got any timings. They've completely gone though. They've completely gone. But if you are just joining us, a reminder that it was Newmanshire who stalled on the grid. Everyone, well, most drivers took avoiding action. Unfortunately, there was a Van Amersfoort that hit the back. And then you had a few other cars that followed. Unsighted, of course. And there were so many of them on the grid. I think 15 cars at least were somewhat involved, somewhat affected. The rest were able to get through. And that's quite the dramatic day, isn't it? Quite the dramatic day. Right. I'm going to have to go check whether we've got any live timings available anywhere to bring you. Because they've gone off. I imagine the reason why is because we were no way supposed to be racing at this time at all. Or, like, I don't think, even by the standards of what we've seen, don't think anyone would have been expecting to be racing at this time of day. I think it's the latest we've actually ran a race at all in terms of FRECA, GB3 and Italian F4, all combined. It is definitely the latest that we've actually ran it. There we go, live timings are back, everybody. And then they realise, oh, we still have to function for a little bit longer. The realization comes in. Okay, let's keep it on battle screen because that's where we've got the information. That's where we've got the information regarding what's going on. So, all eyes now will be forward to this restart, to whatever restart we may get. But the only news I want is that all the drivers are okay, because you never want to see cars stalling on the grid in that manner. We had a big crash, of course, last year in the Formula 2 feature race in Azerbaijan. Luckily, Pepe Marti was able to walk away from that one. Appears like everyone's walked away from this one critically. But yeah, whether it's F2 2018, F2 2021 in Jeddah, cars stalling on the grid, and even Ugo Igachukwu here a few years ago in Italian F4. I remember he had a big, he stalled on the grid, and I think there was a big shun as well, including him. So it was reminiscent, but even worse. Which, we've not covered a red flag in Italian F4 this year, or E4. So, that was a huge accident to have, and it's one of those where when you see it, you immediately know this will not be a safety car, this will be a red flag immediately. And race directors exactly did that. So, right, let's look at this order. Our new order will be Gabriel Gomez, Alexander Bondarev, Key Nakamura Berta, Newman Shi. That's not going to be correct. That's not going to be correct. Okay, so apologies. This order that you're seeing right now is not going to be the case. Definitely after that moment, Newman Shi will not be going anywhere near racing today, and most likely even race 3 tomorrow. So we're just waiting for information on when this race possibly could be getting underway. It's been a dramatic day so far. And now, all eyes will look and go ahead to the finale of this day. This race. You know, if there is any days for every single JB Motorsports 2 race to be delayed, this was not there. This was not it. Race suspended. We've just received the news that race suspended. Don't know whether that means that the race is... The wording on that is like... Well, yeah, we're aware that the race is suspended. Well, does that mean that we are going to get a restart? Are we going tomorrow? The wording isn't precise, because we're of course all used to the postponed or cancelled. One of the two. Or the race will not resume. One of the three. We've not got that. Okay. Yeah, continuing with what I was saying. On a day, on my busiest day of the year, I've been hit with delays across every single JB Motorsports 2 series and 2 red flags. Which, can I just say, before today, we only had 1 red flag across these 3 series. Only once. And that was in France. Here today... Here today, it's all eyes, possibly to getting this race back going. Is that what we're doing? Race is suspended is the only information we've got. Is that us done for today. The wording confuses me. Safety cars leading us back out onto the circuit. It is quite the chaotic day. Oh, it's quite the chaotic day, everybody. I've been going at it since the morning. And I've still got one more thing to do today after. What a ridiculous day it's been. The racing's been crazy at times. But it's never easy seeing the pictures that we did at the race start for this one. After already what was a 40-50 minute delay to this race starting due to other series delaying it. Inside this race we get a big shunt. Fair play, I have to say, which once again, may I just add, we mentioned this, we briefly mentioned this earlier on in Formula 2 it was. We mentioned it earlier on in Formula 2 that, you know, sometimes the actual F1 series looks like complete rookies when it comes to the race direction and all of the clearances of all of the marshals and how everything gets cleared and how quickly everything gets done. We mentioned, of course, the AMR safety crew, but I ensured to mention this race and these 3 series, and once again they've proved it. Because I'll be honest with you, I've covered much more longer delays. Like, for example, the Porsche Mobile 1 Super Cup. That had delays. They had a pile-up. And they... well, you saw how long they took. Or what about the F2 Monaco one? You are sat there for a very long time. But that one breezing by. Which, just imagine the amount of debris there was put on to the grid. Through the Variante outer chicane. So we'll wait for confirmation of what's actually happening. Because they're trundling around like it's a safety car, but we've got race suspended as the message. I think everyone's confused on what we actually mean by it. Because we were already under the red flag. We're out there on the circuit. And we're doing a lap. We're all confused a little bit about what they actually mean. Because you have a red flag, which is what we were under. You have a race will not resume. And you have the entire field not coming back to the pit lane. I think they just mean that nothing's happening for the moment. They just wanted to take them out for one lap. To sort the order or something. It's confusing. It's confusing. But to be fair, well, we've been put in a situation which we haven't been in all year. So let's wait and see how this one's going to unfold and what they decide to do. And is that the cars being directed into the support pit lane? It is. And that is it. That is it. I think the stream's ending for them. I think that pretty much confirms there will not be a race. We are done and dusted today with Italian F4. Well, we've covered weird days. This one just feels like the weirdest of them all. A huge crash at the start. and it meant that we weren't able to bring you a race. But that is sometimes the case. That is how motorsport runs. We were already so delayed. So, well, that is pretty much it. That is it. I think, in summary, while we got the message race suspended, I think an easier way of putting it to you is that the race will not resume, and it's postponed for the moment. We will see what happens with it later on. But, well, I guess that will conclude things. That will conclude things. We thank everyone for joining us across JB Motorsports 2 today. The race, well, we were hoping to see an amazing contest. That has to wait. We will keep you updated to whether we will be getting a race at some point in the day or tomorrow or maybe another round. We'll find out. We'll see. But thank you very much for joining us. And the news I want to be hearing is that all drivers are okay without any severe injury. Thank you very much, and we'll see you when Italian F4 goes racing tomorrow, hopefully.